Soil is the topmost part of the earth crust that support plants and serve as habitat to many organisms. We have different types of soil: sandy soil, loamy soil, and clay soil. Each of these soil types has its characteristic properties, such as the structure, the constituents, the capillarity, aeration or porosity, or what we refer to as drainage, water retention, and so on. In our previous study, we know the structure is the size of the grains, whether it's smooth or coarse when you feel it, and what make up the structure. Then constituents are what the soil contains: the organic matter, the microorganisms, the water, the air that form the constituents of the soil. Then the capillarity is how the water move from the subsoil to the topsoil, the rising of soil from the bottom to the top of the soil. That's capillarity. Aeration is air circulation in the soil. That depends on the porosity, the space between the soil particles. Then the other property here is water retention. How much water is soil retaining when rain falls or when water is poured on it? These are some of the areas we want to study details before effective answering of questions based on soil could be handled. Let's see some of these questions now. Example 1. Which of these is not a soil type? A. Sand, B. Humus, C. Loam, and D. Clay. From our introduction, we mentioned sandy soil, loamy soil, clay soil. So the one that is not a soil type is humus. Humus are organic matter in the soil. So answer to number 1 is option B, humus. Example 2. A farmer cannot check soil erosion effectively by 1. That's A. Constructing ridges across the slope. B. Cultivating cover crops. C. Practicing strip farming or strip cropping. And D. Clearing the land of vegetation. Well, option A, when you construct ridges against the slope, the ridges will be acting as a check for the running water. So it checks effectively, it checks erosion. Cultivating cover crops like mukuna and so on. All those ones cover the soil against the force of erosion like winds or rain. So that one check erosion effectively. Practicing crop strips. When crops are planted in rows, possibly across the slopes, you will see that the crops themselves, the roots, helps in checking erosion. But when you do clearing, you are exposing the soil for erosion. So clearing the land of vegetation cannot check erosion. So answer to question 2 is option D, which is clearing the land of vegetation. Example 3. Leguminous crops are usually cultivated in farmland because they A. enrich the soil with phosphate, B. provide animals with food, C. they protect the soil from microorganisms, D. they enrich the soil with nitrogen compounds. We are talking about legumes. If you cast your mind back, leguminous crops have root nodules where nitrogen-fixing bacteria are accommodated and carry out protein synthesis. From there, nitrogen cycle continues to produce nitrate in the soil. Now, with that knowledge, you can now answer this question effectively. Legumes is not in the business of providing phosphate to the soil. We are talking about cultivating it on the land, not to provide food for animals. And of course, it cannot protect the soil from microorganisms. And so the answer is option D, enrich the soil with nitrogen compounds, e.g. nitrates. Example 4. 28 grams of soil sample was heated to a constant weight of 24 grams. When further heated to red hot and cold, it weighed 22.5 grams. What is the percentage of humus in the soil? Now, you have to understand the experiment here. The sample soil is just 28 grams, that's the fresh one. When you now heated it to remove water so that it becomes dry, you have to heat it several times to get a constant weight of 24 grams. Now, if you further heat the soil until the soil started to glow, started to become red like fire, you are burning off the organic matter in the soil. So when that is done, you will see smoke coming out of the soil. And when it has been cold, the weight is 22.5 grams. You are now asked to find the percentage of humus in the soil. You have to gather your data like this. Mass of fresh soil or sample soil is 28 grams. Mass of dry soil is 24 grams. Mass of red heated soil is 22.5 grams. What is the weight of the humus or the mass of the humus? Mass of humus is equal to the mass of the dry weight, which is 24, minus the mass of red heated soil, 22.5 grams. This gives us 1.5 grams. Therefore, percentage of humus in the soil is equal to, take note, how do we get the value of the mass of the humus? We subtract red heated soil from the dry soil. So the humus is inside the dry soil. It will now be 1.5 over 24 times 100 over 1. This will give us 8.3%. You now go back to your options. You will now discover that it's only option B that gives the same value with our calculation. So our answer to the question is 8.3%, the percentage of humus in the soil. Example 5. Nitrification means A. Conversion of nitrate to atmospheric nitrogen. B. Fixing nitrogen to the plants. C. Conversion of nitrates to nitrites. D. Changing ammonia to nitrates. You you recall that we studied all this was under nitrogen cycle. When dead bodies are formed, putrefying bacteria act on the dead body to form ammonia, and the ammonia will undergo oxidation processes through activities of some microorganisms, some bacteria called nitrifying bacteria. And the process is nitrification, which will make the ammonia to change to nitrite, and from nitrite to nitrate. So the process of converting ammonia to nitrate is referred to as nitrification. So with this explanation or understanding of nitrogen cycle, we can now pick our answer for the options. So looking at the option closely, you can see the only one that answers the question is option D, which says changing of ammonia to nitrate. So option D is the answer.